Hello, in this video I will be showing you how to solve and simplify through sum and difference of cubes. So sum and difference of cubes is just two different formulas. The sum of cubes, as you can tell on the right in yellow, the sum of cubes is a cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. Difference of cubes is a cubed minus b cubed equals a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So before we get into all of that, I'll just get down to the basics, just for a quick second. So look, we'll just do a quick overview of what cubed really means. So cubed, so I'm sure you're familiar with x squared. That's with an exponent of 2. So that's squared. Now x cubed is when there's an exponent of 3. When there's an exponent of 3, that would be cubed. Now, just to simplify this down even further, x squared is equal to x times x, whereas x cubed is equal to x times x times x. So when three x's are multiplied by each other, it would equal to x cubed. And that would be important. So I'll just give an example. Let's say when we're speaking in cubes here, so we'll come back. You've probably already heard of squared and you already know how that works. So we'll talk about cubes. So saying this, we've got, we'll look at another problem. We'll look at a problem here. Say you're given 8x cubed. How would you break this down? 8x cubed is equal to, so let's just ignore x cubed for now. That's like a set thing. That's like a set value. X cubed is a set value. That's x times x times x. So let's look at 8. Let's separate 8. So what we're trying to find is one number. We're looking at x cubed. So one number that multiplies 3 times. So multiplies 3 times by itself, and it will add up and will end by itself, and the product will be 8. So just recap. So say we're given the example of 8. We have to find a number that's multiplied 3 times by itself, and then the product of that multiplication would become 8. So let's say 1 times 1 times 1. That's equal to 1 times 1 times 1, 1. What's 2 times 2 times 2? 2. 4. 4 times 2 equals 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So that means, let's go back to this real quick. So that means 8x cubed is nothing but 2x times 2x times 2x. Right? Because x times x times x is x cubed. So we'll write that in. And 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So 8x cubed. So you make sure that you've understood this. If you don't, just try and rewind. And you want to be comfortable with solving with cubes. So I'm going to erase this and we'll start our first problem. Actually, I want to get back to this because we spent some time on the cubes. So sum of cubes is a cubed plus b cubed equals that formula. And difference of cubes is a cubed minus b cubed is equal to this formula. Now, one way to remember this is through an acronym. So it's a cubed plus b cubed would mean sum, a cubed minus b cubed would mean difference. So one way to remember this is through an acronym called SOAP. So I'll just write it over here. SOAP. SOAP. That's an interesting acronym because it tells you exactly how to write this formula. It's a way to remember the formula. So SOAP means same, opposite, and always positive. So these two are separate, and then always positive is one phrase. So same, opposite, always positive. What that means is basically you're given, so basically in these formulas here, so you've got A plus B, that means same. So your sum of cubes, that's a positive right there, right? That's a positive. Now, sum of cubes, that's going to be a positive. Your first number will be a positive because same. So same as your original equation, A plus B. Next, you've got two more. Now, why is that a minus? Because opposite. What's opposite of positive over here? That's negative. So A plus B times A squared minus AB, because that's opposite of our original. Now, what's always positive? Pretty self-explanatory. This final number will always be plus B squared. And if we jump ahead, you can see it's always positive over here as well. So now let's take a look at difference of cubes. So you've got A cubed minus B cubed. Now, A minus B, that's same as our original. That's A cubed minus B cubed, so it's going to be A minus B times A squared, opposite of minus, positive, A cubed, A squared plus AB plus B squared, because it's always positive. So that's how you're going to remember it. Just remember SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. So now let's start our first example. So we'll just look at a simple starter question that you will see in tests. So x cubed plus 125. And you're asked to factor. So you're asked to factor. So the first thing we have to do, just like normal a quadratic factoring, look if there's any GCF. In this case, there's not. So x cubed plus 125. That looks familiar, right? It's sum of cubes. But instead of b cubed, it's an actual number. So the first step that we have to do is we have to find x cubed is our a and 125 is our b cubed. So we have to find our a value and our b value. So a value is equal to x, because x times x is equal to x cubed. Now to find a number multiplied 3 times by itself equals 125. That means 125 is 5 times 5 times 5 to 125. So your b value here is 5. So now let's just simply plug it back in. Let's plug it back into our equation. So you've got a cubed plus b cubed. So x cubed plus 125 is equal to a plus b. A is x plus our b value is 5 times a squared, x squared, minus ab. So minus 5x plus b squared. So 5 times 5 squared, 5 times 5 plus 25. And that is our final solution. So seems simple enough, right? So now let's move on to a second example. In this one, we'll look at difference of cubes. So you've got x cubed minus 64. Factor completely. So this will be difference of cubes. So now, how are we going to approach this? just like how we did the first one. We're going to isolate our A. We're going to find out what our A and B values are. So to find our A, we have to find what number multiplied 3 times is equal to x. X. Right? Because x times x times x equals x cubed. Now, 64. We're going to ignore that minus. We're going to act like the 64 is a positive number. So what's 64? What's number multiplied 3 times by itself equals 64? That will be 4. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. So now we go to SOAP. How do we write this? A cubed minus B cubed. So x cubed minus 64 is equal to A minus B. A is x, B is 4. X minus 4. X, A squared is x squared. Plus, now it's plus AB plus 4x plus 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, equals 16. So this is going to be your final solution. Now, be sure that you've understood this completely, because we're going to move on to one last example, and this is slightly more complex than these ones. So here I have the slightly more complex example. It's 8x cubed plus 125. So this will be sum of cubes. So this is going to be sum of cubes. So let's find our A and B value. What's a number multiplied 3 times equals 8x cubed. Now remember, there's that x. So that would be 2x. Because 2x times 2x times 2x equals 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. X times x is x cubed. Then B value is, as we did before, 5. Because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So that means A plus B, 2x plus 5 times A squared. So if A is that, it would be 4x squared minus 10a, because 10x, so that would be 10x, and then b squared, so 5 times 5 plus 25. So 8x cubed plus 125 is equal to 2x plus 5 times 4x squared minus 10x plus 25. So thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to watch out for future videos.